So hello everyone, thank you for joining our webinar today. I appreciate your presence and I really hope everyone's safe and keeping well during these difficult times. And yeah, so I am Meenakshi Sundaram, one of the product marketers for Zoho Vault, and I will be running you through the session today. I also have with me Deepak Sharma, our product architect. Hello Deepak.
Hello everyone.
And I have with me Suparno Sarkar, our product expert, who's part of our browser extension revamp. Hey Suparno.
Hello everyone.
And finally, we've got Christopher Clement with us. I think you might be familiar with him. He's our technical support engineer. Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Meenakshi. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone are doing good. Thanks for joining the webinar with us today.
Thank you for that, Christopher. All right, so it's going to be a very interesting session, and I really request everyone to stay until the end and get answers for all your questions from our experts. But before that, let's just get started with the agenda for today. Okay, so we'll begin today's session with a quick introduction to Zoho Vault, and then we'll talk about Zoho Vault's new interface and all the new features that includes. And before we open up for an open Q&A session, we'll swiftly take a look at the new Safari extension that should be available for access very soon. Okay, so as I mentioned, Zoho Vault is an in-house password manager from Zoho. Some of you might already be using Zoho Vault and would be familiar with it, but here's a quick recap for all our new users about Zoho Vault. So with Vault, you can securely store all your passwords without worries, as they're encrypted on the client side with military-grade AES-256 encryption. And in addition to your web credentials, Vault also secures all your sensitive data like license, bank account, healthcare details, social security number, server credentials, SSH keys, certificates, and a lot more. So you can even secure your critical documents and notes with Zoho Vault without any issues. And sharing passwords with Vault is easy and extremely secure because you can share your passwords with one of 4 different permissions like one-click login, view, edit, and manage permissions. So what are these permissions all about? So when you share passwords with one-click login privilege, it restricts users from viewing passwords in plain text within Zoho Vault's interface, and it allows them to only log in and access the accounts without viewing passwords. And users with the view and edit permissions can view and edit the passwords accordingly, whereas the users with the manage permission will get complete control of the password, allowing them to even delete or modify the password that you shared with them. So whenever you're sharing a password through Vault, based on the requirement, you can choose one of these different privileges and keep your password secure. Now you can also directly log into your web accounts with a single click using our browser extensions. So we've got browser extensions for popular browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and a new one coming up for Safari and the Edge browser as well. So what they do is they ensure that you no longer have to remember your passwords or enter your credentials manually while authenticating with any of these online accounts. And this kind of saves so much of your time while accessing online accounts, and you just never have to enter any of your username or passwords manually again for most of these online accounts as well. Similarly, Vault also supports single sign-on for various applications, which even simplify your authentication even further, because when you configure single sign-on with through Vault, you'll just be able to access multiple applications that support SSO by just simply clicking them from Zoho Vault. And you can also add or remove multiple users as and when required to use Zoho Vault account. And also whenever an employee leaves the company on bad terms or they just move to a different team, you can just immediately acquire all business passwords owned by them and revoke their access. So I just had a question earlier, and they were asking how do you manage all the passwords of people that are leaving your company, or let's say they're moving to a different team. So through Vault, you can just acquire all the business passwords owned by such people, and you can either transfer them to a colleague who would probably be taking over all the responsibilities of this particular person, or you can even manage them on your own if you're responsible for that as well. And again, so once you revoke access to a particular person's Zoho Vault account, they'll lose access to all your business passwords. So what this does is it ensures that only the right personnel have access to all your critical information at any point. And you can also track every action made in Zoho Vault in real time, and you can view live audit records of who have access to which passwords at what time, and also from which browser and so on. You get extensive details through which you can narrow down who's accessing a particular password at any point of time. Also, you can get email notification for critical events that occur when you're away. Say, for example, whenever your users or passwords get deleted, you will be instantly notified if you configure alerts for such actions. You can also customize Vault to specify what features your organization does and doesn't require. Uh, I mean, for example, let's say your organization doesn't want people storing their personal passwords in a Zoho Vault. You can prevent them from doing so. And you can also enable IP restriction if you want only people from certain IP ranges to access your Zoho Vault account. And yeah, so there are a lot more restrictions that you can enable within Zoho Vault. So you should definitely try that out. And finally, Vault also gives you multiple visual reports about every user's activity. And these reports can be viewed either specific to a particular user that you might feel is a potential insider threat or anything, or even you can view these reports as an overview for your entire organization. Say, for example, you can view the reports of all the weak passwords, and you can also view the reports of all passwords frequently accessed and so on. And based on the weak password report, you can also enforce a strong password policy across your organization so that your users don't store weak passwords, and you can just go ahead and prevent them from doing so. So yeah, so there's a lot that you can do with Zoho Vault. Now, if you're trying to see how secure Zoho Vault is before trusting us with your sensitive data, Zoho Vault follows the host proof hosting concept. So this ensures that all confidential data gets encrypted and decrypted on the client side with AES-256 encryption using the user's master password. So this master password is something that's unique for every user, and it's known only to that particular user. So even Zoho does not have access to the data that you store. And this also means that whatever data you store in Zoho Vault can only be decrypted by you as well. And the encrypted data is securely transmitted over TLS and is stored in Zoho servers. And we have multiple data centers across the globe to help comply with the privacy policies across different regions. For example, let's say an EU user wishes to sign up with Vault, they can do so by accessing Vault from zoho.eu/vault, and the data will reside only in our EU data centers. And similarly, you can choose a data center of your preference to keep your business compliant with your regional laws. And this will help your organization go a long way in being compliant with all the privacy and security laws that might be applicable for you. And it's also notable uh, to point out the fact that Zoho Vault is GDPR compliant as well. All right, so that was a quick overview of Zoho Vault's key features and security architecture. So now let's take a look at all the updates from Vault since the turn of this year. As you might already know, Zoho Vault has a new interface, and some of you might already be accessing the new interface of Zoho Vault. Some of you might have already gotten settled on the new interface. If so, that's great news. But for the other people, we're just gonna quickly touch up on the new interface first before talking about the new features that the new interface includes, right? So revamping the interface of Vault has always been a priority over the last few months, and which is happy to say that we are in the closing stages of making our new interface live. And you can easily switch to a new interface and access all our features in a few clicks, and we'll just be discussing about that very soon. So So yeah, if you guys are already on the new interface, as I mentioned, feel free to drop your feedback using the Q&A section. We'll be reading them through and we'll be passing them on to our team, and that will definitely help us improve your experience in all aspects. So before we step into the screens from our new interface, I just want you guys to have a quick look at the key terms that have been updated in the new interface. Say for example, secrets will now be passwords, chambers will be folders, your passphrase will become master password, as I just earlier mentioned. And yeah, similarly, password types are now called categories, and your alert notification just becomes alerts. So the idea behind this was to simplify the user experience on all fronts, starting with the common terms used in our product. And we've also gotten really good feedback for the change in terms as well. So if you like them as well, feel free to share your opinion as well. Okay, to access Zoho Vault's new interface, for users that haven't already done so, just log into your account and click on the try new interface button from the top right corner of your screen, as you can see from this particular screenshot. When you click that, you'll be redirected to the new interface. So you'll just have to log in to your account with your master password, and you can access all your passwords from the new interface. And it pretty much looks like this. So we'll be seeing more of it very soon. Okay, so the new interface does indeed come with various new enhancements that make password management simple, efficient, and also secure. Let's just get started with the revamped dashboard. Let's see what you can get from the revamped dashboard. So from the new dashboard, you get extensive security insights on all your personal and business passwords. So there are two tabs, if you can notice over here. I'm just going to quickly point out these two tabs. So these two tabs separate the information on your personal passwords from the ones about your business passwords. So from the My Dashboard tab, you can find complete analysis on all the passwords that are owned by you based on their strength, last modified date, and so on. So you can just see this split up over here and the password security score here. So your passwords are assessed based on various predetermined parameters based on which the security scores are generated. So whenever you click on weak, you will be able to see a pop-up that will display all your weak passwords. And the pop-up pretty much resembles something like this. So all passwords that are termed weak will be displayed here, and you can just click the icon corresponding. You can just click the icon under action section corresponding to your particular password, and what it does is it will redirect you to that particular URL from where you can change. You can update your password to a stronger one. So this is something that helps you stay compliant and also helps you identify and eliminate weak passwords from your organization. Now quickly moving on to the team dashboard tab. So this tab gives an outline on your organization's account, and you can view all active users, business passwords, uh, folders, and SSO applications that have been configured here. You can also find out all the common operations carried out by your users, see what type of actions they carry out in your enterprise's Zoho Vault account. You can also take a look at all the passwords that are pending or recycled from the password validity section. And similarly, you can also take a look at people that are performing a lot of operations from the power user section. Also find out the good people that have a really good security score from the security pros. And as mentioned, the active users will display the users who've been quite active and are performing a lot of operations in your Zoho Vault account. Now, if you wish to view the password strength reports of individual users, you can just do so by clicking on users. So this section gives you an overall score of how secure your business passwords are by evaluating all the business passwords owned by your teammates or all the users on your Zoho Vault account. So when you click on users, you get a pop-up similar to what you've earlier seen. And this details a complete split up of every user's password strength and the date they last generated this report. Usually a security report gets generated whenever a user clicks on their dashboard. So if you've got users who've not generated a report, you can request them to do so by just uh, clicking on the dashboard. And once you get all the reports, you can just keep a close eye on all the people with a lot of weak passwords, or you can just quickly reach out to the ones that have insecure passwords and stuff. Now you can store all your web credentials and other sensitive data in the passwords tab as usual, but with a completely refreshing new look layout for your data. So there are two views, which are list and tile view, and based on your preference you can switch between them, as you would have probably seen on your screen. So you can just stick to whichever view you like, and that will stay as default for you. And also you can just quickly access all your folders from the left panel, so you wouldn't have to switch between multiple tabs to manage your passwords. Now moving on, you can also easily import passwords to Vault with using the new interface, where we support import from popular browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Opera, Vivaldi, and so on, and also from other password managers as well that you can see on your screen right now. So if you're switching, if you're looking to switch to Zoho Vault right now, I think there's no better time than right now. You can also create unlimited subfolders now. So there were restrictions on the number of subfolders you could create under a particular folder, but that restriction no longer exists. You can just go ahead and create n number of subfolders that within a particular folder, so that you can organize your passwords as you wish. Similarly, we've also enhanced the folder search with this update. So whenever you search for a folder, all matching results are highlighted by displaying the complete structure of that particular folder. And you can just see this on your screen. So when I search for IT, all folders that contain this particular character are just highlighted, and you can see the entire structure of that particular folder, so you can quickly identify which folder you're looking for. Now, for all the enterprise users of Vault, this should be this should definitely be a welcome update, because you can now add custom attributes while setting up single sign-on for different applications. So what this option does is it will allow users to configure SSO for applications like AWS, for example, and these applications require additional attributes apart from the ones that already exist. So with this particular section, you can now configure SSOs smoothly for a lot more applications than you could earlier do with Zoho Vault. You can also audit all sensitive operations performed in your organization efficiently now by filtering out the different columns that you might not that you might find a little overwhelming. So you can just filter and view just the particular columns, and selectively view all the sensitive operations performed. So you can just avoid all the unnecessary clutter if you feel so, and just focus on the information that's really important for you. And if you're an admin in Zoho Vault, you can now determine a default timeout for all of your users. So admins can set a timeout from the personalization tab, which can be found under the user configuration section of the settings tab. So from personalization, you can just set an inactivity timeout, and after setting an inactivity timeout, as an admin, you can enforce this setting for all your users by enabling enforce inactivity timeout for all of your users. So based on this particular setting, users would get logged out of their Zoho Vault account after X minutes or X days of inactivity based on your configuration. And similarly, you can now enforce your Zoho Vault password policy whenever a new user creates their master password. Let's say you invite a new user to your organization and you wish for them to create a master password that is in sync with your password policy in Zoho Vault. You can do so very well. And since the master password is unique to every user and is used to unlock their account, as I earlier mentioned, it's really important that users set strong master passwords. And yeah, so to ensure that, you can enforce users to adhere with your Zoho Vault password policy by enforcing this option under master password policy corresponding to whichever policy you've enabled. You can find the password policy from the password management section under settings. So from there, right next to your password policy, you can just enable master password policy. So this will ensure that every user creates a master password that is in alignment with your password policy. Next, we have quick actions. That's more of a shortcut for actions you might perform on a frequent basis. This could probably be a favorite feature that you might love. So you can just now add passwords, folders, users, SSO applications, and much more conveniently from one single place, regardless of the tab that you're in. You can just click on the icon and you can just go ahead and do whatever operation you wish to do. So that's one cool feature. And if you're running into any issue or would like to get some clarification on an existing issue, or even if you're looking for a demo of the product, you can just reach us out right from within Zoho Vault. You can just click the icon that I've highlighted, and you could just either request for a demo or even raise a support ticket with our team. We will be getting back to you right away. Zoho Vault now supports custom themes, so you can just switch between 5 different themes and personalize the look and feel of your account. So not just that, you also got sidebar overlay options, so you can just play around with all these settings and you can just give your account that personalized look and feel. And the dark mode was one of the most requested features as far as I can recollect, and here you go. Vault now has an all new dark mode, so you can just switch to the soothing comfort of the night mode and make it easier for your eyes whenever you're working late, or just at any time for that matter. Alright, so apart from these enhancements, we've got some new features coming your way as well very soon. So for starters, users will soon be able to add a subfolder to a folder that is being shared with them. So what this does is it will allow your teammates to organize their passwords under the parent folder that you've shared with them. So this has been a commonly requested feature as well, and it's in the final stages, and it should soon be available. So whenever you share a folder with somebody with managed permission, that particular user should be able to create a new subfolder under that particular folder. So that should be out quite soon. Similarly, you will also be able to drag and drop passwords into different folders. So this was another commonly requested feature from the beta users of a new interface, and it's actually in the final stages of testing as well. So that's another feature that you can expect anytime soon. And finally, we'll also be introducing custom filters for the folders tab, so you can just filter through all the passwords that you have under a specific folder. So if you've got like hundreds of passwords under a single folder, you can just quickly browse through them with the new filter option that will soon come out. And the concept of trash is also in the final stages of testing, and it again could be available in the coming weeks. So what this does is it allows you to move your passwords to the trash instead of deleting them permanently, and this way you can just recover your passwords sometime in the future instead of having to delete them permanently. So you can just keep your passwords tab clear of all the clutter, as well as retain access to all passwords that you might need in the future, Yeah, and finally, this Siem integration is another key feature that's close to being live. And I think we've got Deepak on our panel who's been working closely on this one. And I think he's really the person that should be telling us about this feature. So Deepak, can you just give a quick intro to this feature that our users might soon be able to experience? Can you tell us what it's like and how it will help our users?
Thank you, Meenakshi. Hello, everyone. So the SIEM tools that are used to gather the sensitive logs from various services and to monitor all the activities performed from a central services. So the multiple IT enterprises nowadays employ SIEM tools for the compliance and to gain extensive insights on all the critical events. So Zoho Vault's upcoming integration with the popular SIEM tool will allow organizations to manage all audit logs from Vault from the SIEM services of their choice. So this will also allow you to create custom alerts and receive instant or periodic notifications based on the configurations available in your SIEM services, and that will allow you to stay informed of all the activities that are happening in your password manager.
Thank you so much for that, Deepak. So it's really exciting to know more about the integration, and yeah, it's gonna be quite cool for all users that already employ an SIM tool in their in the system as well. So yeah, let's just quickly wait for the feature to come out as well. Great. Now let's just quickly move on. So yeah, a lot of our users have also switched back to the old interface as they've required some additional time to get used to the new change, and that's completely understandable. When you, some people might just require a little bit more time to just understand what the new interface is about, and if you're one of them as well, no issues. You can just switch back to the old interface, and you can just gradually get used to the new interface as well. So if you wish to switch back to the new interface, I mean to the old interface, you can just click on your profile head and just click on go back to the old version. So if you wish to switch back to the old interface out of either habit, or if you just urgently require something from Zoho Vault, you can just go ahead and do so. But if you're actually switching back because of certain issues or bugs that you might have come across, it'll be really great if you can drop a comment on what went wrong so that our team can immediately get to it and resolve that. So whenever you click go back to old version, we ask for your feedback or the reason why you would wish to switch back to the old interface, and we would really appreciate if you can tell us what went wrong. And even if you're switching back just to like get used to the new interface and just access the old interface temporarily, just feel free to drop a one line comment or just a few words would do. We often keep a close eye on all your comments and also actively work towards enhancing your experience. So yeah, feel free to drop your feedback if you ever want to switch back to the old interface. Now, so people have been following, the people who've been following our forums of late would very well be aware of the beta release of our new Safari extension. So we've completely revamped our extension and have come up with an extension that's quite fast, efficient, and simple. So a few users are already using the beta version of our extension, and a few users had certain issues accessing the beta version, but no worries, because we've just looked into all the issues and have addressed them, and we're just delighted to announce that this extension should very well be available in the App Store in a while from now. I think maybe sometime later Suparno can also give you any input on that. But yeah, so the good news is that you will soon be able to access the Safari extension from the App Store very soon. Let's just quickly look at how this extension is coming up. So these are the screenshots from the new extension. The extension has also undergone a complete UI revamp, so you can just access your passwords and auto login from the pop-up extension. Though this is the pop-up extensions view that you see, you can access your passwords and folders efficiently. And if you wish to perform any type of major action, whenever you want to add or edit or share a password, you can just do so from the detail view. So this is the detail view of a new extension. This full page view allows you to manage all password actions swiftly without having to access your web account. So you can just edit a password or even save a password or share a password efficiently from this place without having to access your web version of Zoho. I mean, the web version of Zoho Vault. You can just access the browser's detail view and perform all the operations because it's very fast and it's also quite efficient. This detail view also accommodates the list and tile view that you earlier saw in the, I mean, that you earlier noticed in the web version of Zoho Vault. So you can just auto log in from the extensions detail view as well. And yeah, you should definitely try this out very soon. And we are also planning on revamping all of our extensions to suit this style as well. And yeah, they should be available sometime around the Q3 of this year. And yeah, before I just finish off the session, I've just got one quick update. So often users encounter issues with the extension, and the main issue that they face is that the extension times are quite fast, right? And you might have personally experienced this as well. So this can be fixed by updating the right inactivity timeout in the from the settings section of your extension. So we've taken that into account and have simplified the overall settings section of the new Safari extension as well. So with the revamped extension, we've just tried to keep the settings simple and clear for everybody to understand, and set different inactivity periods, and also configure the extension based on their preferences. So yeah, that is a quick roundup of all the new updates from Zoho Vault, and we really have a lot more coming your way in the upcoming weeks, and these features are definitely going to be really helpful for you guys. So we've got a panel of experts, and I'm just quickly going to transfer this session to Christopher, and Christopher will be taking up all your questions. We'll also be available. You can just post your questions either to Deepak Suparno or Christopher, or even to me. We'll be happy to take up your questions. So yeah, feel free to ask us all the questions.
Yes. Hi, everyone. And so, yes, to start off with, we have, received a good amount of, questions from various users who have joined this session. So the first question is, we are trying to share our passwords with the whole team via shared password, but we do not know if we are doing it well, but they are not shared. To answer this question, the product Zoho Vault, it revolves around the ownership and sharing design. So when you add a password, you become the owner of it automatically, and you alone will have access to this credential. So if you want other team members to access this password or any password of yours, you need to share it with required team members. Only then they will get access to it. So we primarily use this option, ownership and sharing design, to regulate users' access to your business passwords. So you can have, clear visibility on who is accessing what passwords and when to our audit trails, and you can control users' access to other passwords with this function. So if you're using our standard edition, you must share, every password with other team members. So there is an easy way where you can multi-select password, or you can select all passwords in your account, and you can use the more actions or more option on the top and use the share passwords option to share it with multiple users or to all users in the system. In case if you are using the professional or the enterprise version of the product, there is an easy way where you can create a user group with all your team members in the user management page, and also you can create a folder or chamber in the vault and share it with other team members with modify permission. So whenever a new password is added to the system, please ask users to add it to the folder. So there is also an option when you create a new password, you can also select to which folder you can associate it with. So ask the users to select the commonly shared folder, so that way it will get automatically shared with other team members in the system. But we also have options where you have transfer ownership and emergency access features in the tool. So these options will allow you to easily transfer the ownership of passwords when the owner of the credential leaves the company, or in case if you need access to any of your or any unshared password to tackle any crucial situations, you can make use of the emergency access feature. So you can take a look at it in detail in the help documents. And I believe this answered your question. If you need any more clarification, please feel free to post it. And another question from the same user, the extension click to login, specifically what the function does it run. It is a way to log into websites or apps without entering Zoho Vault password every time. To answer this question, yes, the click to login function is something that we introduced when we launched Zoho Vault to do autofill or auto login to websites. So nowadays we do not recommend this method, and we have also found some limitations with it when autofilling credentials on any sites that are built based on iframes and other stuff. So we suggest all our customers to use a Zoho Vault browser extension. We have browser extension for all Chromium-based browsers. You can use a Firefox browser extension, Safari extension, and even Microsoft now updated to a Chromium-based model. So you can use the same Chrome extension in Microsoft Edge. And you can use the extension to autofill passwords. In addition to that, it also comes with many options where you can easily see all your passwords from the extension. As soon as you log in or you start your day, you can sign into the Zoho Vault browser extension and access all your credentials. And so one more question from Steve. Does Zoho Vault have similar feature like McAfee TrueKey, where it has an overlay and allow me to select the login information on web pages as well as apps on mobile? Yes, it is also available in the Zoho Vault. As I told earlier, you can install the Zoho Vault browser extension on your desktop browsers, and the extension will give you option to autofill credentials. And in case of mobile applications, you need to install Zoho Vault mobile app in your handheld devices, and you can use our mobile application to autofill passwords when you access any third-party applications or when you access any websites from Safari or Chrome browser in the mobile devices. And one more question from Linda. So how does it work to get another user's password with no master password from them? So we do not need the master password of the user who has left the company. So by default, we have the super administrator with sufficient privilege where the super admin can acquire the passwords or transfer the ownership of passwords in the vault. When someone left the company, they can transfer the passwords and their folders in their account. And they can take the ownership, or when they try to acquire the passwords and folders, there is also another option where you can transfer it to a different user who is going to, manage the credentials going forward. So you can take the ownership to your own account, or you can transfer it to different users. And about data center in Canada. So we don't have a dedicated data center in Canada. We have data centers in USA, which is the same used for users in Canada. And we also have data centers in Europe, Australia, and India and China. And one question from Teva, can you please let me see the chart that explains meanings of chambers, secrets, etc. And Meenakshi, can you please?
I'll just quickly get over to the screen. I hope Teva's on the line as well. I'm just going to quickly move to the screen that explain the new terms. Just give me one sec. Here. Almost there. Yeah, got it. So Teva, if you're there, and for any other user that's there, these are the new terminologies on the key terms that have gotten modified. So just you can feel free to take a look at these terms. That there's no issues, but I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about missing out on something. We'll be definitely passing on a recording of this session and also pass on the slides for your reference as well. So yeah, so you wouldn't have to worry much. Cool, no problem. Yeah,
So
and yeah, Christopher, go on.
yes,
Quickly.
so there is one question about the Azure AD integration. So I guess Deepak will be, in a better position to explain this clearly. And in case if you need any further clarification, uh, apart from the answers from Deepak, you can always drop an email to support@zohovault.com. So Deepak?
Yes, Christopher. Thank you. So Anjanesh is asking to elaborate the workflow that we have for Zoho Vault users authentication using the SAML single sign-on. So they want to integrate with their SAML provider, that is Azure in this case, and manage the users. So you can do it very well, and there is an option in Zoho Vault single sign-on. There is an option for just-in-time provisioning. So if you want to automatically add the users which are new to Zoho Vault and coming through the SAML single sign-on, so they can just come to the Vault, access through their Azure credentials, and they will be automatically added to your Zoho Vault account. And if you want the step for the configuration or any help the configurations, you can send an email to support@zohovault.com. We'll just assist you over a call, or we can just send you the steps. Christopher?
Thanks, Deepak. Yes, so regarding the question about when the new interface going to be the default one, Anjanesh, at the moment, as you know, it's in the beta phase, and we are collecting feedbacks from a lot of our customers. So we are just checking, everything is working smoothly, and we can see a lot of good feedbacks from customers. And if things goes well, we will be, releasing the new interface in a month time frame. And another question from Steve: is there a way to customize Vault more by including company's logo or somewhere in the header? Deepak, can you please answer this question about rebranding
Yes,
the product?
Christopher. So the rebranding is in our roadmap, and we'll be taking up. So we had this new UI coming up, and that was our priority. So we couldn't take this up. So probably you can see in a couple of months we'll be taking this feature. So yeah, you will be able to have this customize your company's logo and the Zoho Vault's header.
And
All right. Thanks so much, Deepak.
just to jump in quickly, Christopher, not to interrupt you, but to just add on to the earlier question that you pointed out. As Anjesh asked, we are at the moment collecting a lot of feedback from our users, and we wish to mold our new interface in a way that every user can connect well with the interface and also work efficiently with the upcoming new interface. We wouldn't want to force the new interface to all our users, so we're just getting every bit of feedback that we can. And we're also trying to quickly add on a lot of new features that we just discussed, and you should be able to access them from your beta version as well. So yeah, so the new interface is pretty much ready, but it's like Christopher mentioned, it could be the default in about a few weeks or a month from now. And I'm just gonna pick up one question and redirect it to Suparno. So Suparno, there's been a question on all the browsers that would be all the browser extensions that will undergo a revamp. Do you have a list of all the browsers that will be revamped apart from the Safari browser extension?
Hi everyone. So we do have a list. So basically all the extensions will with all the browsers which support Chromium, they will get the latest update that we are working on. So browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Opera, Vivaldi and Safari. All these will be getting the revamped versions of our Zoho Vault extension shortly.
All right, perfect. I think that answers your question, Diego. I hope so. All yours, Christopher. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Meenakshi. And one more question, I guess this is about uh, browser, or like browser extension, where I enjoy from McAfee TrueKey is seeing the website logo as the image for the saved passwords. I do not see any images as you showed in the extension or detailed view. So, Stephen, to answer your question, we currently have predefined templates with logos for a specific set of sites or for customer requested sites. Soon we will, we are planning to automate this, and I guess Suparno can, explain about this in detail. Suparno?
Yes. So we currently have list of websites uh, stored with us as in the web. So you can just go to quick add and you can save these websites. So what we do is we store the logo along with that password. So we currently have only these set of websites supported. In future we are planning to support more websites, more logos like that.
All right, Stephen. I guess this answered your question. So, as told earlier, we have a predefined templates for some popular sites with logos in it. So, you should be able to, when you add passwords, you should be able to add passwords with logos for the one we have predefined templates. And in future, this list will be growing, and we will be trying to add, passwords or logos for most of the websites.
So apart from that, so this is not even available through the quick add. When you are going to add a website, suppose you are typing Amazon or Facebook, so the popular website that we support, so the logo and the default name and default URL will automatically appear. So whatever we support, that will be auto-filled. So this is the easiest way you can just do it. Christopher?
Yes, it is indeed a quick add method where once you type in the name of your website, automatically name, the URL information will be auto-populated along with the logo. You just need to store the username and password details to save the credentials. So, Aaron, about your questions, fine-grained controls to manage groups as well as user specific. At the moment, the fine-grained controls, it is only user specific settings. So you need to some specific uses when you configure restriction, and we will analyze and we will update about the feasibility for user group management with respect to fine-grained controls. Is there a way to save form fill? Yes, Meenakshi.
Sorry, Christopher. Sorry for interrupting you. I think Olivia has a follow-up question to what I earlier mentioned. Olivia wants to know the best way to share passwords with her team members with just view access but no edit access. So, Olivia, as I earlier mentioned at the start of the session, we've got 4 different access permissions through which you can share your passwords. So if you wish to share passwords with your teammates and give them only view privilege, you can just click on share corresponding to that password and select share with users. Once you select share with users, under the privilege that you wish to share, click on view. Once you click on view and click share password, all the users or the particular user would only be able to view the password that you shared with them. They'll not be able to edit it, or they'll not be able to share they'll not be able to share that particular password with anybody else. So whenever you want to share a particular password or a folder, just click on share, and then select that particular select the view privilege corresponding to the password. So that should pretty much hold good for you. I hope that answered your question. If you have any follow-up questions, please post them. We'll definitely answer them. All yours, Christopher.
Thanks, Meenakshi. So there is one question from Gal, and when refreshing the Chrome browser, we are required to re-enter password. Uh, so yes, Gal, to answer your question, this is indeed, like an expected behavior. Normally, when you refresh or close the browser, the passphrase that you entered in the client, it will be cleared as we use the zero knowledge design. So you will have to re-enter the password every time when you refresh or when you close and reopen the browser. And same from Gal about secure notes. So all parallel programs have a simple note component, no required fields except for a record title. So the use of existing form is, so you need to store information like software codes, credit card details, and physical access information. So at present, you can use the Zoho Vault custom password category or custom secret type feature to store these informations in the product. So you can create a custom category for credit cards with required fields, and you can specify the label values as text or passwords, and you can store those information. Similarly, if you want to create or if you want to add just notes in the product, you can also create a custom category in the product. So with only one text field as title, and you can use that to store rest of your contents in the product. So one more question from Gal, reset password by admin. In case if user has forgotten their password, an administrator must have the ability to reset the password without losing information. So to answer this question, Gal, we already have option in the product. If you go to the user management section, you can reset users, or you can clear users master passphrase or master password of the vault. And when you reset the master password, the user will lose access to the personal passwords that are stored in the vault. But enterprise passwords, the users can regain access to them after completing the sharing handshake process. There will not be any impact to enterprise passwords stored in the vault. And one question from Andy where about mobile application. My mobile app locks as soon as I leave the app. Can it be changed to not timeout so quickly? Yes, you can adjust the timeout in the mobile application. If you go to settings, there is an option where you can control or adjust the time interval for lockout.
Just to add on to that point as well, Andy, so you can also configure biometric authentication as well. If you're using a smartphone, you could just enable Touch ID or Face ID authentication for your mobile application as well. We have a mobile apps for iOS and Android. So based on the OS of your mobile, you could just install these applications and also enable biometric authentication and unlock your vault with your fingerprint or your Face ID. Thank you, Christopher.
All right. So about Aaron's question regarding can you specify which region to store your credentials? For example, only have it stored in US. So basically, like each data center is differentiated or, have a separate URL for access. So in case of US data center, the access URL will be zoho.com/vault. Likewise, for European data center, the access URL will be different, which will be zoho.eu/vault. So for Australia and India, the data center or the access URL will be different. For Australia, it will be like zoho.com.au/vault. So based on the access URL, you can figure out in which data center your data is being maintained. Yes, Stephen, you are right. So normally when you import passwords, we do not append logo to them. Only when you add it manually, you will be able to, see the logos. But we will see if there is, like a feasibility to append logos when you import passwords. So in our future updates. And Aaron, I could see one more question from you. Are you able to share an entire folder with another user group? So I assume your question is about sharing the entire subfolder structure with other users or like other user group in the product. If so, it is possible. There is an option on top uh, to include subfolders. So once you enable it, along with the parent folder, all folders inside the subfolder will also be shared with other team members. And is there a place to store? Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Christopher. So there's just another question that I quickly want Deepak to look into. I think it'll be apt if he answers about this. So Olivia wants to know if we can store a document in Vault, uh, uh, documents like their tax ID and other business IDs and so on. Deepak, can you give Olivia a bit of detail on how they can store files and the limits that they will have to keep in mind while doing so?
Yes, thanks, Meenakshi. So Olivia, right now we have an option. So when you select the password category, you can select the file store and you can upload your files. But there is a limitation that we have right now. You can upload one file or multiple files, but the total size of those files should not exceed 2 MB. So right now we have this limit, and you can very well do this. Upload your files and documents to Zoho Vault. So they will be stored as securely as your passwords. So they are also encrypted into the client side and stored in our servers. So I hope this answers your question.
Thank you so much, Deepak. I hope that answers your question, Olivia. If you have any follow-up question, please post as well. And everybody on the session, please feel free to post your questions. We've still got a few more minutes to go. So in case you've got any questions, just feel free to post your question. All yours, Christopher. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Meenakshi. So there is one question from Aaron about explaining the security score on weak passwords. I see both a 85% and 25% score in my weak password report. So I guess, like Deepak will be able to, like answer this question very clearly. Deepak, can you please answer the question about the security score predictions?
Yeah, so I hope you're talking about the security score that we are showing in the dashboard of our product. So if you see both like 85% and 25%, so this is like your weak passwords and strong passwords. So 85, 25, some are, so maybe 85% of passwords are strong and 25% are weak. So, okay, Meenakshi, can you go to our dashboard slide?
Sure, Deepak. Just give me a moment. And I also believe Aaron is talking about the weak passwords that you click. I think he's talking about the reports from here. I think he's seeing an 85% somewhere here. Is that so, Aaron? Can you explain about that? So I'll just go back to the screen. Yeah, all yours, Deepak.
Yes, so you can see here. So here, what you see is 85% of your passwords are. You can see the color poor, fair. So this is the complexity of your password. So 85% are green. That means 85% of your passwords having excellent strength. They are following up the password policy of your organization. And if you're talking about the second screen that Meenakshi told, so that is some security score, like how easily these passwords can be predicted, or any attacker can brute force into these passwords. So if you want to know more information about this, just write us, drop an email to support@zohovault.com. So we'll be happy to reply to you. So I hope this answers your question.
Deepak, there's also a follow-up question to what Olivia had asked about the file storage as well. Can you take up that as well?
Yeah, so if we have a business IDs that are not document, but we would like to store them in Vault and share with the team, they are just IDs, not logins. Yeah, so that is possible. So as earlier explained by Christopher, you can use custom password categories. So you can create your custom password categories. You can have some predefined field that you want to add up. So you can have single field, or you can have multiple fields and store your IDs and share them with your colleagues. So that will work. Yep. And Aaron, so yes, I have 20 passwords, and I would thought if to show the top weak passwords. Okay, so probably, so you can see that there is a sorting option for security score. So if you just sort it on basis of the security score, so top weak passwords will be visible to you.
Just to add on to that, Aaron, so this could also be a minor issue that could have happened for you. Maybe we can, go offline and get on to a remote call and probably check this out with you. Would you be interested in having this checked out sometime soon? Maybe we can take that offline, but if you would really want to get this checked out, can you please write an email to support@zohovault.com so that we can address your issue right away? All right, so guys, do we have any final questions from your end? We've got a lot of questions today, and it's really exciting to connect with all of you guys. So if you have any final questions before we wind up a session, that'll be really great. And yeah, if we've missed out on answering any of your questions, we would definitely get back to you and connect with you. Or if you would want to know more about about a certain feature, or if you would want help with setting up something in your organization's world, just please feel free to drop us an email on support@zohovault.com. And also please do try out the new interface of Zoho Vault and give us your extensive feedback. You also have an option to share feedback right from Zoho Vault's interface as well. So explore all the options and tell us what you like and what you feel could probably be improved or modified. We're just going to take a last few questions before we wind up. So yeah, last few questions, please. Christopher, all yours. Christopher?
Yes, sorry, Meenakshi.
No problem.
So there is one question from Stephen to follow up on Olivia's question. If we can upload files such as tax IDs, can those be shared within the organization as well? Also, can you limit sharing to an allotted time frame? So for this requirement, I would recommend another product called Zoho Work Drive, where you can store files and manage file sharing. There is also an option where you can share it with entire organization, and you can also specify the sharing duration in number of days or on specific date. After the specified date, automatically the sharing will be revoked. So you can consider, or you can just go ahead and try that product uh, called Zoho Work Drive, and that would definitely meet or address this requirement, Stephen. And another question from Anjanesh. Only passwords are classified as personal or enterprise. Presumably, personal passwords cannot be transferred. Yes, Anjanesh, you are right. The personal passwords are strictly maintained as your private information or users' private information. So only enterprise passwords can be shared with other team members. It can be transferred to other users or can be acquired by admins. Personal passwords cannot be shared or acquired. Yes, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat section.
And just a quick update, guys. Earlier, I promised that I would share a password generator from Zoho Vault. I'm just posting the link in the chat section. So if you wish to generate strong passwords, you can use this particular link anytime you wish. Thank you.
And one question from Aaron again. If a user has read access and is a part of user group which has modify access, which permission takes precedence? Aaron, this is really an interesting question. And I guess I'll be glad to answer this question for you. So normally we have a priority configured when you share a password to users. So you can share a password directly to a user, and another option, you can share a password directly with user group. And third, you can share a chamber with users, and fourth, you can share a chamber with user group. So in this scenario, the first preference is given to the read access will be the preference that will be given to user. So the priority level starts from password to user group, and chamber to user and chamber to user group. And if you apply same permission to a user with read, modify, or manage, the least privilege will take the precedence. Yes. Yes, Aaron, the least privilege will be given to the user. Thanks, Aaron. So yes, let us know if you have any further questions about Zoho Vault. So, Meenakshi, do we have anything else to share with the customers?
I think that's pretty much it, Christopher. I'm just gonna wind up. I just have one last question that I have for Suparno. I think we've missed out on answering a question. So Suparno, there's a question about the new Safari extension and how it is different from the existing extension. Can you just give a quick brief about how things will change and how I mean, like, will the extension be faster, or how will this be efficient for the users? Can you just touch up a little bit on the new Safari extension and maybe give the users a quick insight on what they can expect?
And Meenakshi, just to add up with your question, so there are also, like certain customers who always contact us asking about the performance, how it works in the revamped extension. especially during the login phase, and also about the enhancement to auto logon performance. So yes, Suparno, can you please also add these information along with your response?
Sure. So the new Safari extension is much more faster than the older extensions. So we have used the a whole new algorithm for this. It reduces the loading time. So as you were speaking, the login. So in Safari extension, it comes along with the desktop app, which is only used for the login purpose. So once you have logged into the app, you can straight away access the extension from Safari. Now, in terms of difference from the previous extensions, this new Safari extension has a whole new detailed view in which you can open up this detailed view in a new tab, and you can perform operations in a much better way. So add, edit, and sharing operations are performed in this new detailed view by default. The and As long as the auto login is concerned, we are currently working on enhancing the auto login algorithm, and the new update will be available soon, which enhances the auto login algorithm.
Suparno,
And we
just sorry to interrupt you. Just a quick add on to that. So the detail view that you've described, will it be available for all other browsers as well? Will the design be similar for all other browsers?
Yes, so we are currently working on revamping the other browser extensions as well, and they will look exactly the same as this new Safari extension, and we will be definitely having the detailed view in those.
That's wonderful. That's really, really great. Do you have any final comments about the extension before we conclude? I think we're running out of time. So if you want to talk about anything quickly, I think we have about a couple of minutes before we wind up. Suparno?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you good? So, do you have any final words to add on? I'm just quickly, like rounding off the session. I'm just taking off the final words from all of you guys. So, do you have anything to address related to extensions?
Yeah, sure. So the revamped versions will definitely be much more better than the older versions, and we also have some exciting features uh, that we have in the roadmap, like the auto sync feature, the integration with OneAuth app, and also the users will be able to perform operations in folders.
Wow, that's really,
So
really
these
great.
these all are also there in our roadmap.
Thank you so much, Suparno, for that. Thank you so much. So, Deepak, just getting final comments from you. Do you have any final comments for us before we wind up?
No, me actually, I am good. So you can wind up.
Thank you so much, Deepak. Christopher, anything before I just quickly wind up?
So as usual, we always ask our customers to share their feedback and suggestion to us. So we are ready to accept, any sort of feedback, and we definitely analyze all the suggestions, and we will definitely look into the feasibility, and if it is really feasible from our end, our developers are ready to implement any sort of enhancement or feature request. So at this point in time, as you know, we are currently, revamping the entire interface, and few enhancement and feature requests were slowed down, but still we will be implementing them as soon as the new interface is rolled out successfully. So there are a lot of things coming this year after the launch of the new interface. So stay tuned on Zoho Vault. Always drop an email to support@zohovault.com if you guys have any questions or if you need any assistance setting up the product.
Thank you so much,
That's all.
Christopher, for that. Thank you so much. And yeah, just as Christopher had mentioned, if you have any further questions, please feel free to connect with us over support@zohovault.com. And you can also connect with us on Twitter by following our handle @ZohoVault. You can send us a DM, or you can also write an email to support@zohovault.com, and we'll be able to help you with all your queries. So that was a great session. Thank you so much, guys, for your involvement. That was a lot of questions, and I hope you were satisfied. And if you have anything to share with us, go ahead and share with us through the support section. I will be winding up for now, and I hope to meet you guys in another webinar very soon. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you continue to stay safe. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, and bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you. See you soon.